Welcome everyone to Blasty Banter. My name is Peter Klein. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Missed it last week, I think, maybe. I don't know. We've been all over the place lately. But we are back here today, and today is What Did We Learn Wednesday? Going to be looking at what we learned with the Flames, as well as the Toronto Raptors on the Dynamite podcast a little bit later on. By the way, if you want more thoughts on... Oh, hi. My cat is here. Apparently gonna come hang out. Has ignored me all day, but we're talking now, so need to join the show. I was on Sportsnet 960 earlier today talking a bit about the Flames and stuff like that, but I thought today be a good time, since the games at this point don't totally matter, just to take a look at what we have learned throughout the 2023-2024 season with the Calgary Flames. And we will start at number one. Is that cool with you? We're good? Okay, good. We'll start at number one, and that is that the kids can play. I think the Flames have got best case scenario. Oh, apparently Bailey disagrees. For everyone just listening, all of that sounded very weird. And now the camera's going crazy. It's like the 89 World Series. But I think you can say you got best case scenario out of Zary, Pospisil, and Sharangovich this season. For Zary and Pospisil, you have found... where they fit, right? Like, it seems like they have a very good fit here with Nazem Kadri. And I think specifically for Pospisil, that is beyond what you could have considered best case scenario. This is a guy who has battled some injury issues and some consistency problems in his pro hockey time, and comes up to the big club and has been everything you could have dreamed of and more. I kind of thought if this guy was going to come into the big club, it'd be in a fourth line role. He's going to check, bing, bang, boom, maybe put the puck in the net, be all due respect to all parties involved, a glorified Walker doer sort of a type. Instead, he has been a mainstay in the middle six basically all season long, and has been a big part of getting Nazem Kadri back to where they needed to get Nazem Kadri to be. And Connor Zary, like, you knew that there was some offensive talent with this kid, but he sees the game at a really high level, and I think he has meshed with Nazem Kadri really, really well throughout this season. And you have seen his playmaking ability, I think, take a step up, and his finishing ability take a bit of a step up as well. And so with those two guys, not only do you know where they fit in, it seems like, at least for the next couple of years with this team, but also you have guys who you can just kind of pencil into your middle six, going in to next season. And with Sharangovich, this is beyond best case scenario, right? Like, it's a lost deal. Can't believe they just basically gave Toffoli away for nothing. This is going to be terrible. Oh no, this is just one of the best scorers that the Flames have had. Pure goal scorers in a really long time. Like, they have someone who can finally, if you're watching, you can see the camera shaking, you know who is there. Hi, Bailey. But you have a guy who can now, to steal the basketball term, can score from distance. And you have a guy who can absolutely step up offensively for this team. And that is like that just high scorer, or high skill, high scoring ability is not something that this team has had a whole lot of in the past. And that is, I think, something that they are going to need as they're going to go. So it really, to say core piece might be a bit of an exaggeration. It's an exaggeration. But they have something here, and they have a piece that they can at least lay a foundation with going forward, and be someone who, again, you pencil into the top six for, I think, years to come. Like, he is, like I just said, he is what the Flames have been looking for. And I think also what he has provided is a fit with Jonathan Huberdeau. And that leads to the next point, is that there is still the old Jonathan Huberdeau in there. He has 30 points in 36 games going into last night's game. I didn't bother changing it again, sorry. He had 30 points going into 36 games since his 1 point December, where he got that point at the end of the month. He's not going to be a 115-point guy. He's not going to be a $10.5 million guy. But he is at least not just an absolute loss now, which is what it looked like a season ago. There is something there with this player. And I think he, again, meshes well with Sharangovich. Huberdeau He's never going to be a goal scorer, even though that shot is really good. But his playmaking is like some of the best you'll see, and his hockey IQ is some of the best you'll see in the National Hockey League. And I think that benefits Sharangovich greatly going forward. So I think another thing that we learned this season is that Jonathan Huberdeau, the rumors of his demise have been, I'm not going to say greatly exaggerated, but somewhat exaggerated, because I think that this is still a useful player, which is good, because it's something we've talked about with this team before. Whether they're going to rebuild, retool, whatever, Huberdeau's going to be here, right? They are not moving that contract now or in the next couple of years. So you may as well make the most of it. And it seems like with Sharangovich, and I think to a certain extent Kuzmenko as well, they have made the most of it. A negative that I think we have learned this season, and I've talked about this on here, I've talked about this on 960, Andrew Mangiapane ain't it. I'm out. I have sold my stock. I am off of Mangiapane Island. However you want to put it, I'm done. It's looking more and more like the 35 goal season was an outlier, and a lot of the talk coming into the season about the Flames' improvement was that, okay, well, the goal scoring is going to get better. Or one of the talk, was the goal scoring needs to get better. Where are the goals going to come from? And immediately it was, well, Mangiapane had 35 goals the year before and 17 last year, dealing with a hurt shoulder. He's going to bounce back. Well, 13 goals this season. And so he's going to have to put some work in to have it not be a second year in a row with a goal decline for him. His touch around the net is just gone. He either misses the net or puts it right into the goalie's logo basically every time he's in tight. Obviously, hyperbole, you get my point. I don't see the same player that we saw a couple of years ago. I genuinely don't. The only time he has been productive this season has been when he is with the line that everyone's productive with in Backlund and Coleman. And not only is the goal scoring down, not only is he taking a spot that could be used significantly more valuably, but also he takes way too many dumb penalties. And I will grant him that has toned down as the season has gone on. But there were some absolute backbreakers for this guy. The suspension was so dumb. And it was like, look, you are too important to be doing this. And it kind of played his way out of importance in this. So I am, if you couldn't tell, I'm all the way out on Mangiapane. He's an expiring contract going into next season. I would be looking to move this guy and hope that there is a team out there that thinks he is still young enough and still has that 30 goal potential in him and try to take advantage of it that way. But yeah, I am gone when it comes to Andrew Mangiapane. Back to the positive side of things. Just quick honorable mention on the player part, because we're going to get into more front office-y stuff now. Honorable mention to Rasmus Andersson and Mackenzie Weegar, who I think we have learned this season are still very good. We knew that. Like, Weegar, I think, has taken a step, but in terms of what we have learned this year, we have another data point of, oh, those two are awesome. And I would like to see them paired back together. I understand why they're not right now. Spread the love a little bit instead of just loading up your top D pairing and then hoping for the best. But I would hope next year that the defense is good enough that you can have those two guys in a pairing, because I thought they were really, really good together. Now to more front office-y things. One thing we learned this year is Ryan Huska can coach. This was a season that could have gone off the rails several different times. I just mentioned Mangiapane suspension. Anderson gets suspended as well. Nikita Zadorov just up and requests a trade. And everyone is furious. And like at that point, it's like, look, this could go really, really bad. Because we know how this... We even at that point, we kind of had an understanding like, yeah, this team... and all these guys are going to be gone. And so there are so many distractions with that. And then Zadorov is like, hey, can you get me the fuck out of here? And I thought Huska handled that really well. And at no point did it feel like he kind of gave in to any sort of tanking or whatever. He was sitting star players. I was frustrated with the line blender a little bit, and then it worked with Zari Pospisil and Kadri, and with Huberdeau and Sharangovich. And I don't think it's an accident that we talked about before, all of these kids coming up having better seasons than you could expect. I think Ryan Huska has absolutely developed a culture here where these young kids can come in and thrive. And look, he didn't bat 1,000, right? Like, Pelche hasn't really fit. Coronado hasn't really fit. I don't know if he has managed Dustin Wolf perfectly. Well, I know he hasn't, but he's also has other things to worry about than just Dustin Wolf. But I do think that Ryan Huska has shown that the good vibes and all of that around this team are enough that they're going to be able to move forward with this group. And I think that he has shown that he can get a lot out of these young players. Now, there isn't a ton of pressure on him right now. We'll see how good of a coach he can be in year 3, 4, and 5 when they need to win games, actually. So we will see there. And the last thing I think we learned this year is that Craig Conroy is really good at this GMing thing. That is my opinion. I know not every deal was a home run, but I think when you look at what he had to deal with, what he walked into, and what he has come away with, I think you have to feel really good about where the Flames organization is at. Like, you look at it. We've gone over this before, but just a refresher. Out in Conroy's time, and there's been a couple other minor deals. I'm not factoring them in no small part because some of the players in there I can't pronounce their names. Toffoli, Zadorov, Lindholm, Tanev, Hanifin. That was the water bottle. All of those guys are out. So that's a lot to deal with. Coming in, Igor Sharangovich, Andrei Kuzmenko, Yanni Yermo, Hunter Brustovitz, you have Grushnikov. Sorry, I need to stop printing these out. Daniil Miramanov, a 2023 third, 2024 first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then a 2026 first, third, and another conditional third. So he has made some major moves here that have, I think, set the Flames up. Like, he basically acquired a whole other draft class for 2024. Like, the Flames, they don't have, I think it's a 5th and a 7th. But he has gone out and acquired, and look, like, there's conditions on half of those, so we'll see. But he has gone out and acquired basically an entirely new draft class and has created a system now where you are really excited about some of the defensemen that are coming up. And you have Coronado and Pelche who are still to come to make an impact on this NHL roster. We'll see what happens with the Markstrom situation this offseason. But I think that we have established that Craig Conroy is good at this GMing thing. So that's what we have learned in the 2023-2024 season with the Calgary Flames. Last note here today. I think one of the big decisions Conroy's going to have to make in the next little bit is with Andrei Kuzmenko. Because when he is at his best, he is the most talented player on the Calgary Flames right now. And probably, honestly, the most talented player the team's had since Johnny Gaudreau. Damning with faint praise, I know, but still, I think he is that good. I think he can be a game changer on the power play, giving him a full year, a full offseason, full training camp to get acclimated there. He is the type of talent this team is lacking. When we look at the Flames rebuild, we look at, okay, like they have got some really good pieces here, but they don't have any game breakers. I still think that there can be game breaker in there. I said on 960 this morning, I don't think he will ever be best player on a championship team, but I think he will play on championship teams. I think he is talented enough that he can be, he can ride shotgun really well in those sorts of things. And so, like, that is exactly the type of talent that you are looking for. And I still think he is young enough to be able to make an impact on this team when they are good again. So if they end up moving him next year, I will fully understand it, but it will be very difficult for me to move off of this particular player. And I personally would like to see maybe a smaller extension and kick the can down the road and see what you actually have in this dude, because I think there is a lot of potential with this particular player. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Special thanks to Bailey, who dropped by. She is now sound asleep on the desk next to me. So must have been a great show. You can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm at Primetime Klein, twitch.tv/PrimetimePK. You can email the show, couchpotatodiary@yahoo.com. If you're looking for your WrestleMania fix, boy, do I have it for you. We have had a lot of WrestleMania coverage on the flagship Couch Potato Diary over the past couple of days. That will continue later on today with a look at the legacy of The Rock. But also, it is, like I said, it is What Did We Learn Wednesday? So we are going to do this exact type of an exercise with the Toronto Raptors coming up here in a matter of moments on Dynamite. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure, if you're listening, you leave a review. If you're watching, you like and leave a comment. And I will talk to all of you later.